Hi, this is the audio clone of Mr. Von Neumann. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to take a photograph and turn it into pixel art. First thing you want to do is do File, Open, and bring your picture in. I have R2-D2 for our subject here. The next thing you're going to want to do is in Edit, you have to change Preferences. So I went Preferences, General, and you want to change the image interpolation to nearest neighbor in order to get the hard square pixel edges. The next step you're going to want to do is use the Quick Selection tool to start selecting the image that you want to pull out. And every time I click, I'm able to select more and more of R2-D2 here. If you over select too much, like that, you can hold the Alt key and start dragging it back down. Or over in history, you could go and pick up go back a step to lose that you over selected. So I'm going to pause for a minute, finish selecting out the rest of R2-D2 here. So the quick selection is nearly perfect here. I'm going to show you a couple more tricks for the finishing touches. If you do Control+, you can zoom in. And then if you do the bracket, it changes the size of your selection tool. And then again, Alt will let me push it back in a little bit if it needs to. And if I let go of Alt, I can get it back out. So like right here, it needs to go out just a little bit, so you can go really small with your tool and do some little finishing touches there if you need to. So now you're ready to go ahead and copy and paste this into a new layer. So Control C and go over here, open up a new layer. Then do Control V into that layer. And you now have R2-D2 in there. You're going to want to go ahead and get rid of this old one that we have here. So we'll make one more layer, call it the new background. And give it a fill color that contrasts nicely against what we're going to be working with here. So I picked red, and we can go ahead and throw the old background out, delete it, and lock this new background, and now we're ready to work. So to begin turning this into pixel art, you want to go to Image, Mode, Index Color, okay, and watch closely. I'm going to do Control+ to zoom in a little bit more. And you have the option to play around with the amount of index colors. If we drop this down to 4, we're only going to have red, white, black, and a little bit of gray. If we do 8, all grays, black, and red, no blues. To see any blues, we're going to have to go to 16. It looks like 24. This is a tough one because there's so many blacks, whites, and grays. Normally I'd be happy with 8, but on this one I'd say probably 24. And within the forced black and white, if you go to primaries and web, there's a lot of other really cool options that you may want to explore. We'll stick with black and white. And for diffusion, you could also do pattern and noise. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more, watch what you can do. So if you do pattern, that's what you get. Noise will give you even a little bit more randomness. And if you want it really blocky to make it easy to pixelate, diffusion is what you want to use. Though if you go 100%, you have it very diffuse. And if you go 0, or 5% or 10, it's going to be extremely blocky. I'm going to go with 25%. Okay, so it's done. Now, one problem that you might have here that I've had before is you might feel like there's nothing else you could do here. So say you're trying to move this, you can move it, but if you try to go Edit, Free Transform, which is what we need to do next, that won't work. If you go over here and try to add another image, another layer, that won't work. So what you have to do is go to fix this problem by going Image, Mode, get out of Index Color, and go back to RGB. Now you can add another layer if you want, and you can edit it. So that's a very important step. Go back to RGB. So now you're going to go ahead and shrink R2-D2. Control minus and Control plus will allow you to zoom in to see what you're working with. And you're going to want to free transform by either going Edit, Free Transform, or Control T. And as you shrink R2-D2, so if you go all the way down and shrink R2-D2 this small, let's zoom in and take a look at what we'll have. So this is a little too blurry, and the pixels there's too few pixels. So continue holding Shift in the corner and drag it back out, make it a little larger until you have the definition that you're happy with. So I'll take that and then go ahead and apply the free transformation. And now some further work is going to begin. So before you start the process of editing R2-D2 in the pixels right now, you're going to want to quick select him again, cut him out, and put him onto another background. Because if all you start doing is using the eraser here, and you start cleaning them up, which will be one of the first steps you want to do, if you're doing it against a white background, it's going to get very hard to see. So I'm going to quick select him, just like I showed you in the beginning, go through that whole process, and paste him onto a red background or a contrasting background, and then begin the editing work. So now it's all pasted in, and I'm going to get rid of the original. So now I have the new R2-D2 freely floating in the red background. Now I can go ahead and take the eraser. It's set at 1 pixel, and you can then start to pick away at the imperfections. So like around the head here, you can see there's going to be some that you want to get rid of. So I'll go ahead and pause for a minute as I go around and clean up some of the imperfections with the eraser. Now that you're done erasing and you're ready to start adding colors, click on Swatches, go to your eyedropper tool, and click on the colors that you're wanting to repair. Then go to your pencil tool, it's set at 1 pixel, and you can start, if I want to add a little bit more blue in this area, you can start to add more. If you want a little bit more black up here. So this process will allow you to finish off your pixel art. Pixel by pixel until you have exactly what you want. And then there's one final step. So now that you're done editing R2-D2, go ahead and do Control negative to zoom all the way back out, and then Control plus to do free transform, Shift in the corner, and pull them back out, do Enter, go back to the cursor, and now you can position him, freely move him around, and go ahead and experiment with different designs and colors. If you try less index colors, you'll definitely have a crisper result than this 24 index colors that we had on this one. And I hope that was helpful.